कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये भक्त्या विहीना कपलासलक्ष्मी क्षिप्ताश्च कामादि तरंगमति कृपामयी त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृंदे नमस्ते करुणारणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे हरे তোমার যে অন্য বেশ অন্য সঙ্গ অন্য দেশ ব্রজজনে বহু নাহি ভাই ব্রজভূমি ছাড়িতে না তোমার না দেখিলে মরে ব্রজজনের কি হবে उसका वक्फ कर रहा है कविराज गोस्वामी। তুমি ব্রজের জীবন ব্রজরাজের প্রাণ তুমি সকল ব্রজের কৃপার্থ তোমার মন আসে যাও ব্রজ ব্রজে উদয় করাও নিজ ब्रज का जीवन और ब्रजराज का प्राण ब्रजराज नंद और ब्रज का ही संपर्क है आप आज तुम कृपा दयाल आशीष जाओ ब्रजजन ब्रज उदय कराओ निज को ब्रज में आकर ब्रजवासी को जिंदा करो सुनिया राधिका बानी ब्रज प्रेम मने भावे व्याकुलित देह मन ब्रज लोकेर प्रेम सुनी आपनाके ऋणी जानी मानी परे कृष्ण तारे आस्था तो ब्रज का प्रेम का जब सुना तब अपना आप को ऋणी समझा इसलिए ऋणी जे जसामान प्रबंधन्ते तान सदैव भजन्ति मम वर्तां वर्तन्ते मनुष्य जो हमको जैसा एक करता है मैं भी ऐसा ही करूँगा लेकिन मैं तो ऐसा नहीं कर सका इसलिए अपना आप को ऋणी समझा अपना आप को ऋणी समझा इसलिए बोला वहाँ भागवत न पारो एयम निरवध्य स्वामी जिला न पारो एयम जैसा जैसा ऐसा सेवा मैं नहीं कर पाया। कहाँ नहीं कर पाया? ब्रजवासी ब्रज का प्रेम सुनकर अपना आपको ऋणी समझते हैं। और कृष्णा ये लोगों को आश्वासन देते, प्राण प्रिय सुनो मोर यही सत्य बचन, तुम्हार सवार स्मरणे झुलुमयी रात्रि मोर दुख ना जाने। क्या बोला? प्राण प्रिय। कृष्ण ने हेतु का साथ इसका उत्तर किया। तुम लोगों का स्मरण करते हुए मैं रात दिन रोता हूँ। मेरा जो दुख है ये किसी ने नहीं जानता है, इसलिए दुख है। हमारा जो प्रतिज्ञा है के पालन में मैं असमर्थ हूँ। ब्रजवासी যতজন माता पिता बंधु सबे হয় मोर प्राण। माता पिता ब्रजवासी सब मेरा प्राण का बराबर, प्राण का समान। तार मध्य गोपीगण साक्षात मोर जीवन, तुम्हें मोर जीवन है। इसका बीच में गोपियों ने साक्षात मोर जीवन, और तुम हमारा जीवन का जीवन। कौन जीवन का जीवन है? राधा रानी। तो यही जो ब्रजवासी का साथ इनका जो विच्छेद कृष्ण का, यह है हमारा दुर्दैव का फल, दुर्भाग्य। ब्रजवासी का साथ उनका जो विच्छेद कृष्ण का है, ये दुर्लभ दुष्ट उद्विष्ट তোমার সবার ছাড়াই আমার দূর দেশে রাখিয়াছে दुर्दैव। तुम लोगों का संग से अलग करके, संग च्युत करके हमें जो दूर देश में रखा है, ये शरीर मेरा दुर्दैव, दुष्ट अदृष्ट। एक दूसरे का विरोध है। क्या होता है? मृत्युजनक होने से भी एक दूसरे का प्रीति के लिए कांत और कांता जीवन धारण करते। प्रिया प्रिय संगहीना, प्रिय प्रिया संग बिना नहीं लिए सत्य प्रमाण। प्रिया का संग भाग देकर प्रियो का संग से अलग होकर कोई जिंदा रहता है। सप्तम श्लोक में शिक्षाष्टक ने शिक्षा दिया। सप्तम श्लोक में शिक्षा दी। ये एक दूसरी का विरह में श्री कृष्ण विरह सहित न पाए पुराण छाड़ीते दिन दुई चाली कृष्ण विरह सहन होता। लेकिन इसका ऊपर एक बात, क्या बात है, यदि मैं शरीर छोड़ दूं तो ये बात जब हमारा प्रियोत्तम का गुजर होगा तब उनका दुख होगा, तो उनका दुख से उनको बचाने के लिए जीवन धारण कर, जिसको अष्टम श्लोक में बताया आश्रित स्वभा पादरतान विनष्ट माम दर्शनात् माम महतां करो यथा तथा वा विदधातु मम पदे मत् प्राणनाथस्य सएव नाम। विरह में भी प्रणय पत्र जो उनका लिए क्या है, उनका मंगल कामना इच्छा है। सही सती प्रेमवती प्रेमवान सही पति वियोग ने वांछे निजो। वियोग में भी वियोग का ही चिंता करते। हमने जब चला जाओ तो ये बात जब उन्होंने सुनेंगे उनका दुख होगा, इसलिए ये नहीं कर सकता। नागों ने अपन दुख वांछे प्रियजन सही दुई मिले, अपना दुख को सोचता नहीं, प्रियतम का सुख चिंता करते हैं। ये दोनों जल्दी आपस में मिलते हैं। तो इसका कारण देखाया राखीते तुम्हारे जीवन से भी हमें नारायण तार सत्य आशी नीति नीति, ये तुम्हारा जीवन रक्षा करने के लिए मैं रोज आता हूँ और क्या करता हूँ, नारायण का सेवा करता हूँ। नारायण का कागज से ही रोज रोज आता हूँ। तुम्हारा सोने क्रियापुरी पूर्ण जाई जदुपुरी कहा तुम्हें मानो मोर स्फूर्ति। रोज रोज जदुपुरी लगता और इसको ही तुमने क्या समझते हैं, स्फूर्ति होता है। साक्षात मिलन से भी इसलिए बताया स्वयं राधार नहीं, क्या नहीं विरहे जाला स्वयं कृष्ण। मोर भाग्य मो विषय तुम्हार जे प्रेम है সেই প্রেম পরম ফল। লুকাইয়া আমা শোনে লুকাইয়া আমা আনে সঙ্গ পরায় তোমা শোনে प्रकट हो आनिले सत्य। तो छुपा के मुझको लाता है, आपस में संग होता है, तो बाहर में भी जल्दी जाएगा। यादवेर विपक्ष जत दुष्ट कंसपक्ष कहा हमें कोई सब खाए। यादव का जो विपक्ष है, शत्रु है, सबको मैं क्षय कर दिया। जो लोग कंस का पुत्र, दो चार जन जो बचा बचा है उनको भी मार के मैं वृंदावन आ जाऊं। ये निश्चय जानना। सही शत्रुघ्न हरिते भरतजन राखिते रही राज्य उदासीन। ऐसा भरतजन को रखने के लिए मैं राज्य में रहता हूँ उदासीन से। इसलिए कृष्ण को भी कंस बोधावली किया नहीं। एक वसुदेव नंदन किया। ये समझना बड़ा कठिन। कृष्ण केवल उनका है प्रेमो लीला, और वसुदेव रूप से ये किया। जैसे वसुदेव को रख के आया था नंद भवन में, और नंदनंदन का साथ ये शामिल हो। लेकिन जब जरूरत पड़ता है तब उन्होंने अलग रूप से ऐसा कंस बोधावली तुलदा पे हाथी मारा, ऐसा किया। कृष्ण किया नहीं। तो प्रमाण कैसे? कृष्ण जुदुसंभूत जस्तु भूपेन्द्र वृंदावनम परित्यज्य सब चिन्ह। वृंदावन त्याग करके वे कभी भी किसी अवस्था में नहीं। इसलिए अक्रूर दे गया कृष्ण को, वो गया कौन? अक्रूर घाट में जब गया तो स्नान करने के बहाना में वो उनको गया बुता लगाया तो देखता है पानी का अंदर में भी कृष्ण और रथ के ऊपर भी कृष्ण, दोनों कैसे अलग अलग हुआ? नंदनंदन रह गया और वसुदेव नंदन हो गया। और ब्रजवासी सब समझे कि कृष्ण को ले गया, इसलिए दुख का अनुभव किया। रथ घोड़ा का पहिया पर नीचे एक गिर गया, हमें हमारे ऊपर से रथ ले जाओ। तो इनको समझाया नंदो महाराज। क्या समझाया? कि कितना बड़ा मर्यादा का बात है। सम्राट इनको बुलाने के लिए रथ भेजा, इसको देगा। लेकिन ये लोग उनको बोला ये अक्रूर नहीं है, क्रूर। हमारे ऊपर से रथ चला के ले जाओ। लेकिन जिसने अक्रूर ये लोगों का कोई संबोधन किया नहीं, रथ चला दिया। इसलिए ये अपराध से अक्रूर को क्या हुआ? अक्रूर का कृष्ण विच्छेद हुआ। वो संबोधन नहीं किया, अपराध हुआ। अक्रूर को मालूम नहीं था ये कंस मारने के लिए बुलाया है, तब भी क्यों किया? ये दिखाया वो जानते हैं तब आया क्यों? बोलता है औरंग ही परम लाभ उत्तम श्लोक दर्शन। उत्तम श्लोक का दर्शन होगा, कंस का आदेश पालन होगा, इसलिए उत्तम श्लोक दर्शनम। उत्तम क्या? उत्तम किसको बोलता है? जिनमें तमोगुण नहीं, उद्गत तमो जस्मात्। जहाँ पर तमो गुण नहीं है वह उत्तम। सही उत्तमों ने जिनका सुलभ से महिमा कीर्तन करते हैं वह उत्तम। तो यही हमारा लाभ है। ये तो कृष्ण तो उनको मार देंगे, लेकिन हमारा लाभ हुआ ये कृष्ण दर्शन हो जाएगा बीच में। देवाश्री पुत्र धने पुरी राज्य आवरणे যদুবনে संतोष। ये जो कुछ करता हो ये যদুবन का संतोष के लिए। তোমার যে প্রেম গুণ করে আমার আকর্ষণ আনিবে আমার দিন দশ। तुम्हारा जो प्रेम 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 होता है भक्ति का चरम अवस्था। भक्ति का 3 स्टेज, साधन भाव और प्रेम। साधन भक्ति होता है क्लेशोगिनी शोभदा, इसमें क्लेश रहता नहीं और शुभ देता है। और जेटा भाव भक्ति ये क्या है? भाव भक्ति का क्या होगा? इसमें तो ऐसा और भाव भक्ति में क्या करेगा ना मोक्ष लघु तकलीफ सुदूर लंबा, जो मुक्ति को छोटा देखेगा और भक्ति कोई आसान बात नहीं। सुदुर्लभ दुर्लभ नहीं, सुदुर्लभ अत्यंत। और उसके बाद प्रेम भक्ति। प्रेम भक्ति क्या? संदलानंद विशेष आत्मा श्री कृष्ण आकर्षण, यह घनीभूत आनंद और श्री कृष्ण आकर्षण। घनीभूत आनंद कैसे? गन्ना का रस मीठा, इसको करने से गुड़ बनता है, फिर रस से मीठा, चीनी बनता है उससे मीठा, और मिश्री बनता है उससे मीठा। तो मिश्री होता है घनीभूत, रस यदि गिर जाए तो मिलेगा नहीं कुछ, और यदि गुड़ गिर जाए तो भी चला जाएगा, ऊपर ऊपर थोड़ा बहुत मिल सकता। लेकिन यदि मिश्री गिरे तो उसका तो बिगड़ेगा नहीं। कीचड़ में गिरे, अच्छा यहाँ धूल में गिरे, धूल में गिरने से पानी में धोने से साफ हो जाता है। कीचड़ में भी पानी में धोने से साफ हो जाता है। और ये होता है घना, ऐसा हाड़ है कि सिर फोड़ जाएगा मारने से। लेकिन ये रस, मछली को मुंह में रखो उसका कोई हिस्सा फेंकना पड़ेगा ना, सब पिघल के अंदर चल जाएगा। तो यही जो प्रेम भक्ति ये फल की संद्रानंद विशेष। और क्या? श्री कृष्ण आकर्षण, कृष्ण को आकर्षण करता है। कृष्ण कौन है? कृष्ण धातु कर्षण न तो निमित्त था, जिन्होंने सबका आकर्षण कर आनंद देकर उनको निवृत्त कर देते हैं। कोई चीज मांग रहता नहीं, यह है कृष्ण। और वही कृष्ण को आकर्षण करता है प्रेम। इसलिए तुम्हारा जो प्रेम भक्ति ये मुझको आकर्षण करके लाएगा, देर नहीं बनस्पति देनी है।
Yesterday, we were hearing that how Srila Maharaja was explaining the conversation in between Srimati Radhika as well as Krishna. So yesterday, Srimati Radhika, she was complaining to Krishna that we are not yogis. Earlier you have sent the message through Uddhav that how we can forget you for a moment and get engaged in something else. So that's why we know very well that whatever you are talking in these words, there is something which is duplicitous, which is cheating. You know our heart, but at the same time you are without. You know very well at which time what kind of rasa should be manifested. That's why at this time you are speaking those words which you know very well that those words are not applicable for us. Then she is continuing, Dehe smriti nahi jar, samsar koop kahan tar, taha haite na chahe uddhar. Dehe smriti nahi jar, those who does not have even any kind of sensation for their own bodies, they have even completely forgotten. Those who are always only feeling the pangs of separation. Dehe smriti nahi jar, samsar koop kahan tar. If they do not identify themselves even with their bodies, how come they are having any other kind of entanglement, any other remembrance of family members or any other thing? They does not have. Taha haite na chahe uddhar. That's why Brajavasis, especially Gopis, they does not desire at all to Taha haite na chahe uddhar. They never desire, they never pray to you that, oh please deliver us from all these entanglements. They never desire, they never pray for this. Why? Because they don't even have this sensation at all that they are having any connection with themselves, what to speak of others. So that's why this prayer is not there from Brajavasis, from Braj Gopis. But there is one prayer which we make all the time. And what is that? Viraha samudra jale kam timin gile gile gopi gane neho tar par. That, oh Krishna, we are also suffering, but our suffering is not like ordinary people of this material world. What is our prayer? Viraha samudra jale kam timin gile gile. We are also suffering, but our suffering is very different. And what is that? That we are suffering from your separation. And the word which is being used by Srimati Radhika is Kam Timing Gile Gile. Kam means prem. For the gopis, in the context of gopis, Kam is always interpreted as prem. And that prema, the strong desire to serve you, but unable to serve you because of your absence, is something which is swallowing us completely. Timing gile gile. What is that? Srila Maharaj mentioned that how in the ocean there are crocodiles, and then there is a creature who can swallow this crocodile, and he is known as Timingil, the one who can swallow the crocodile. Then there is Timingil Gil, who can even swallow the Timingil. So that's what Srimati Radhika, she is mentioning, that Kam Timingile Gile. This prema which you yourself has developed in us first by giving us love and by accepting all our services, by protecting us in each and every respect, sometime from Indra, from the anger of Indra, sometime you have saved us from Davanal, from so many other demons who attacked on Braj. Purposely you have saved us first. And then what you have done, that immediately after some time you have left and put us into the fire of separation. And that fire of separation is like Timing Gile Gile, that completely wants to swallow us. And we are very fearful. So that's why this is the only thing which we are asking, that please protect us from that. Gopi Gane Neho Tar Par, that this is our prayer, that please bring gopis extinguish
Fire.
the fire of separation. This is our prayer to you. Vrindavan Govardhan Yamuna Pulinvan Sei Kunje Rasadik Leela Sei Brajer Janagan Mata Pita Bandhugan Bado Chitra Kemane Pasarila. That, O Krishna, Vrindavan, in which each and everything is meant for your service. Each and every living entity desires for your pleasure, works, lives even for your pleasure. Govardhan, that Govardhan which is always ready to serve you in many different ways, by offering sweet water, sweet wind, so many wonderful fruits, as well as Singhasan, all the beautiful places where you as well as your associates, Brajvasis, can rest, provides very soft grass for the cows. Each and everything is being provided by Giriraj. So that Govardhan, which is also having his life before your service, Yamuna Pulinvan, all those banks of Yamuna, in which there are many different kunjas and nikunjas are there, again for your pastimes, for your service. Sei Kunje Rasadik Leela, and the special pastime which you performed, Ras, in Vrindavan itself, how it is possible that you can forget about all these things? You don't remember. Years after years after years. Sei Brajer Janagan, all the residents of Braj, the birds, cows, peacocks, bumblebees, all the creepers, trees, Yamuna, Giriraj Govardhan, your sakhas, all the gopis, your mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba, all these Mata Pita Bandhugan, all these residents of Braj, Bado Chitra, Kemane Pasarila, it is very, very astonishing. We cannot come to any conclusion that how it is possible for you that you can forget about everybody completely. Vidagdh Mridu, Sadgun, Sushil, Snigdh Karun, Tumi Tomar Nahi Doshabhas. At the same time, how we can blame you for anything? We cannot blame you. Why? Because you are Vidagdh. You know each and everything. Mridu, you are very soft. Your heart is not hard. Your heart is very soft. Sadgun, you are invested with all wonderful special qualities. Sushil, your character in itself is spotless, very pure. Snigdh, at the same time, you always show your affection for everybody. Karun, you are full of mercy. Tumi tomar nahi dosha bhas. But to speak of any fault, even a tinge of fault is not there in you. So how can we complain, how can we say anything about you, that you have anything wrong with you? Tabe je tomar man nahi smare braj jan se amar durdaiva vilas. So now I can conclude that Tabe je tomar man, even though you are such a special person with all wonderful qualities, but still if you don't remember Braj, the resident of Braj, that means there is some fault with us itself. It is our misfortune that you don't remember the Brajvasis. Nadani apan dukh dekhi Brajeshwari mukh Braj janir hriday vidare. Can say that for some time we forget about ourselves completely. We understand very clearly that we have made many faults when you were there in Braj. We have called you thief. We have scolded you for many small things. Sometimes even though you have not done anything wrong, but still we were not willing to speak with you even. We never allowed you to come into our punjas. We made many wrong things, that we admit. But Nadani apan dukh, that's why we don't consider our sufferings. Why? Because we are the cause of our own sufferings. But Dekhi Brajeshwari Mukh, as soon as we see the face of Mother Yashoda, Brajeshwari, Braj Janer Hriday Vidare, the heart of Brajvasis fires. What they call fires or pierce? Pierce. The heart of Brajvasi pierce. It cuts into pieces automatically by seeing her suffering. What wrong she has done? When was that time when she did something for which you forgetted her love completely? We are unable to see her situation. Kiba maro brajvasi, kiba jiao braje asi, keno jiao dukh sahai vare, kiba maro brajvasi. Either you can kill all the brajvasis, or kiba jiao braje asi, or come to the braj and give them life. Why keeping them in such a situation where they are living but in reality not living? Their situation is like that. Why you keep them in such a situation? Either kill them or either give them life by coming to Braj. Keno jiyao dukh sahi vare. Why you make them alive just to suffer more and more? Tomar je अन्य वेश अन्य संग अन्य देश ब्रज जने कबू नहीं भाए. The kind of outfit, the kind of dress you are wearing, अन्य संग, and the kind of association you are keeping, अन्य देश, and the place where you are living, Braj jane kabu nahi bhai. Brajvasis, they never like anything like that. They does not like your outfit, they does not like your associates, the one with whom you are associating, and they does not like the place where you are choosing to live. Braj bhumi chadite nare tomana dekhile mare. Braj janer ki habe upay. What is our situation? Braj bhumi chadite nare. All the Brajvasis, they are unable to step out from Braj. Tomana dekhile mare. And at the same time, by not seeing you, they are almost dead. Braj janer ki habe upay. What Brajvasis can do, you can tell. Tumi Brajer Jeevan. You are the life and soul of all the Brajvasis. Braj Rajer Pranadhan. You are the wealth. You are the only wealth for Brajraj, Maharaja Nanda. Tumi Sakal Brajer Sampad. All the Brajvasis considered you as their only wealth. Kripard tomar man asi jiyao Brajajan Braje ude karao nij pad. Kripard tomar man. Your heart is full of mercy. So that's why I request you, asi jiyao Brajajan, that come to Braj and give life to all the Brajvasis. Braje uday karao nij pad. You can manifest your lotus feet in Braj itself. Shuniya Radhika Vani Braj Prem Mane Adi Bhave Vyakulit Dehe Man. By hearing these words of Srimati Radhika, Braj Prem Mane Asi, the love which was there in the heart of Krishna for Brajvasis, he was trying to conceal it more and more. But at this time, by hearing the words of Srimati Radhika, what happened? That completely got manifested. Bhave Vyakulit Dehe Man. And now, Krishna earlier was seen that he was not affected so much. All the symptoms of Viraha also manifested on his Deha, on his body, as well as his heart also started crying. Braj loker prem shuni, apna ke rini mani, kare Krishna tare ashwasan. Braj loker prem shuni. By hearing the love of Brajvasis for him from the lips of Srimati Radhika, apna ke rini mani, Krishna, he felt more and more indebted. Kare Krishna Tare Ashwasan. At that time, Krishna, he started speaking something, those words which can give some kind of soothing effect to Srimati Radhika. He started assuring her, Pran Priye, Shuno Mor Hei Satya Vachan. Oh, Pran Priye, very dear to my life, you can hear my words. Toma Sabar Smarane, Juru Moi Ratri Dine, Mor Dukha Na Jane Kono Jan, Toma Sabar Smarane. I also remember all of you. Juru Moi Ratri Dine, day and night, I cry, I lament, I suffer. More dukha na jane kon jan. Nobody knows about my suffering at all. More dukha na jane kon jan. Nobody knows about my suffering. Why? Because in Braj there are many gopis and many residents, those who can speak about me among themselves, and by speaking about me, their suffering reduces somewhat. But here, where I am staying, nobody is there with whom I can even share my feelings. I cannot speak anything about Braj. That's why what happens, that my suffering does not reduce even a little bit. It increases more and more and more. Brajvasi jato jan, mata, pita, sakhagan, sabe hai more pran sam. O Srimati Radhike, all the Brajvasis, including my mother, my father, and my sakhas, all they are like my life. Tar Madhya Gopijan, and among all the Brajvasis, Gopis, Sakshat Mor Jivan, they are my life itself. Mata, Pita, Sakha, they are like my life. And the Gopis, they are my life itself. Tumi Mor Jivan er Jivan, and you are the life of my life even. Toma sabar prem rase, ama ke karila vashe, ami tomar adhin keval. Toma sabar prem rase, the kind of prema all of you are having for me. Ama ke karila vashe, that prema has controlled me completely. Ami tomar adhin keval, I am only controlled by you. Toma sabha chhadaiya, ama dur deshe laiya, rakhi ache durdaivu prabal. Toma sabha chhadaiya, the will of providence has kept me away from all of you. Rakhi ache durdaiva prabal. Why? Because of my misfortune itself. In this way, Srila Maharaja, he was mentioning one after another small things in between, that how Krishna, he has given his words in Bhagavad Gita. Ye yatha mam prapadyanti tam tathayu bhajamyam. He has given his words that whoever worships me in whatever mood, in whatever intensity, I also worship them in the same way. But in the case of gopis, I am failed. That's why Krishna, he feels ashamed. And he mentions, Na pare am nirvalti sanyojam, that, O gopis, I am unable to repay you. I am always indebted. I cannot do those things what you are always engaged in for me. I am unable to do everything what I have promised. And then, what is my suffering? My suffering is that why I am unable to do what words I have given. Why I am unable to fulfill them. This is my suffering. And then Srila Maharaj mentioned Priya Priye Sang Hina, Priye Priya Sang Vina, Nahi Jiye E Satya Praman. Now Krishna is mentioning that Priya Priye Sang Hina. What is the translation for Priya? Beloved.
Beloved.
Beloved cannot live without his
Also beloved.
loved one,
Yeah.
without his lover. Priya Priya Sangha Hina, Priya Priya Sangha Vina. Just opposite. Like one cannot live without another. Nahi jiye e satya praman. This is very true. More dasha shone jabe, tar ei dasha habe, ei bhai dume rakhe pran. And both of them, even though they are having very deep attachment for each other, but if by the will of providence they are being separated and kept in different places, and both of them they are unable to keep up their life in separation, but still they keep their life. Why? Because the only one thought comes in the mind, that if I will give up my body in this separation, in this suffering, then what will happen? My beloved, when he will hear about dying, my dying, what will happen to him? He will be suffering a lot. So that's why, considering this suffering, future suffering of the beloved, lover is unable to give up his life even and suffers more and more while living. This is what Krishna is mentioning. So that's why Srila Maharaja, he confirmed this statement with the words of Srimad Mahaprabhu. Here Krishna is speaking and there Srimati Radhika she is speaking in the form of Srimad Mahaprabhu, who is mentioning in 7th verse of Shiksha Ashtaka that first it is mentioned that Yuga idam nimishena chakshusha pravisha idam shunya idam jagat sarvam govinda virhename. That when Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he has translated this verse into song form in Bengali, the very first thing he mentions, Shri Krishna viraha ar sahi tena pari, pran chadite ar din dui chari. Srimati Radhika, she is mentioning, Shri Krishna viraha ar sahi tena pari. I am unable to tolerate the separation of Krishna. Paran chadite ar din dui chari. Now I think there are only 2 or 4 days in my life. After that, my life here will automatically, definitely go away from my body. Paran chadite ar din dui chari. Then, after speaking like this, feeling like this, afterward there is something which is higher than this, which manifested in 8th verse. And then the mood, the bhav of Srimati Radhika changes. And then she mentions, Ashrisho vapada kam pinashtuma, madarsanat marm hatam karotuma. That, O Krishna, you may give your darshan and accept my services, or not give your darshan and be happy with that itself. You may embrace me, or you may never give your darshan, do whatsoever, but you are always my prana. So the first situation, first seventh verse, he mentions that it is very difficult, painful to tolerate the separation. And in that separation, the time comes when one is unable to keep their body. But in the 8th verse, the higher position is being mentioned, that even though this situation comes, but still the lover keeps their body. Why? For the pleasure of his beloved. So that's what is explained by Krishna also here. And then Srila Maharaj mentioned that all these things what we are hearing here is about prema. But how one attains this stage of prema? First comes sadhana bhakti, and then comes bhava bhakti, and then prema bhakti. Then Srila Maharaj in brief he explained that how in the stage of sadhana two things happens, kleshagni and shubhada. All the kleshas means all the sufferings goes away. What does it mean? Srila Maharaj explains many times. It means, it does not mean that suffering will not come in the life of a sadhak. Sufferings will come, but he will get that much power that he will not be affected by any kind of suffering. His faith will never be shaken. His faith will increase instead. So this comes in the category of kleshagni. When one will be properly performing sadhana, then what will happen? This thing will come. That does not matter externally whatever kind of suffering will be coming, but sadhak will never be bothered by it. Then shubhada. Whatever will come in his life, he will be able to see it, that each and everything is auspicious. Srila Maharaj mentions from 64 limbs of sadhana. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, he mentions like taking shelter of Guru, taking Diksha, following his instructions, doing this, doing that, many 64 limbs of Bhakti. In that, one of them is that Srila Maharaj mentions Tad Kripa Avalokanam, means the sadhak, he will always see Tad Kripa Avalokanam, the mercy of the Lord is there always with me. This is also a limb of sadhana. So that's what happens strongly when one properly performs sadhana, shubhada. And then in the stage of bhav, what will happen? Moksha laguta krita and sudurlabha. He will understand very clearly that attaining moksha, liberation, is insignificant completely. And sudurlabha, Hari Bhakti, is not a cheap thing. It is very rare to attain. A strong, special desire to serve the Lord without any selfish motive, it is very difficult. So you will be able to understand this also very clearly. And in the stage of prema, what will happen? Sandranand Visheshatma Shri Krishna Akarshani Chasa. His bhakti, his faith for the Lord, his service for the Lord will become very, very condensed. Like Srila Maharaj mentioned, sugar candy. From sugar cane juice, first what will happen? From sugar cane juice, one will be able to make jaggery. And then from jaggery, one will be able to make sugar candy. So, sugar cane juice So sugar cane juice, if somebody is holding it and if somehow this sugar cane juice fall down, then one cannot have anything in their hand. It's all completely wasted. But when one is having jaggery in their hand, and if it drops somehow on the ground in the mud, then something is lost. He can take that jaggery out, wash it nicely, something will go in waste, but mostly he can have it. And sugar candy, if it gets dropped on the ground in the mud, then nothing is lost. Just wash and you can have everything in your hand. So in the same way, Srila Maharaj mentions that even though sugar candy, jaggery and sugar cane juice, source of all these things is only one, that is sugar cane. In the same way, when a person is performing bhakti from sadhana to bhav to prema, it is one and the same thing. But one is in immature stage and another is in the pure stage. When one is in sadhana stage, then if something happens, then because of one's komal shraddha, very soft faith, he may lose everything. But when it reaches into the bhav stage, then it is not possible that it does not matter anything happens that he will lose anything, everything. No, little bit may be lost, but nothing, not so much. And in the stage of prema, nothing can happen at all. So in this way, Srila Maharaj was mentioning that there are steps, but here Radha and Krishna, they are speaking everything about prema itself. We will continue hearing tomorrow other things from Srila Maharaj. From tomorrow, the katha will be there in Sri Gopinath Gaudiya Math. So we request all the devotees to be there. If possible, please, we request everybody to come by 7 o'clock so that we can hear the glorification of Srila Maharaj from 7 to 8, and then Srila Maharaj will speak. And again, we request devotees also to bring their what you call radio, translation headphones or whatsoever, because for 2 or 3 days simultaneous translation will be there. It will not be possible to translate after Srila Maharaj. So we request the devotees to bring their earphones also. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,